Welcome to this explainer. It's wild to think about, but a single misclassified shipment, it can literally wipe out your entire quarterly profit. If you're an SMB importer, an e-commerce seller, or an ops leader moving goods across the Pacific, you already know logistics can totally make or break your bottom line. So today, we're doing something super practical. We're going to systematically map the exact right China to USA freight forwarding solution to your specific shipping scenario. We're skipping the generic advice and diving right into how to align your unique shipment profile with the perfect strategic partner.
Let's kick things off by challenging a pretty dangerous myth. Look, a lot of businesses treat freight forwarding kind of like a vending machine, right? You put your goods in on one side and just hope they pop out okay in the US. But here's the thing. Choosing a generic forwarder without deeply analyzing your specific shipment profile is a recipe for disaster. We're talking hidden costs, agonizing delays, and inventory that's just frozen in transit. Your unique business model absolutely has to dictate your logistics needs, not the other way around.
To fix that, we're going to walk through 5 key areas today. First, standard cargo, looking at FCL versus LCL. Second, urgent freight and air cargo solutions. Third, tackling oversized cargo, like heavy machinery. Fourth, e-commerce and Amazon FBA strategies. And finally, how to make your final decision.
All right, let's dive right into section 1, standard cargo, specifically FCL versus LCL. So, if you're an SMB importing standard inventory, your very first logistics hurdle is usually this choice: full container load, or FCL, versus less than container load, which is LCL. FCL means you secure a dedicated container all to yourself. LCL, on the other hand, means your goods get packed into a shared container alongside shipments from other buyers. It might just sound like a simple difference in volume, but trust me, it completely changes your delivery timeline and the whole process once your goods actually hit the US port. It really comes down to this ultimate trade-off. LCL is going to be your best friend for cost effectiveness when you've got smaller volumes that just don't justify renting out a whole box. But FCL is basically the VIP lane. It gives you vastly superior transit speed and way better per unit rates if you have high volume. Plus, it entirely bypasses those agonizing deconsolidation delays that LCL shipments always seem to suffer from at the destination port. But we have to issue a massive warning from our sources here. You've got to beware of the CIF trap. CIF, which stands for cost, insurance, and freight, might look like an absolute steal on your supplier's quote, but it's actually a Trojan horse. It hides at least 10 major destination fees, handling charges, and document costs. So whether you end up going with FCL or LCL, you absolutely must negotiate around these terms to protect those precious margins.
Moving right along to section 2, urgent freight and air cargo solutions.
Okay, picture this. Your top-selling inventory is suddenly out of stock. Customer demand is absolutely going through the roof, and standard ocean freight simply won't cut it. When you're staring down a stockout, air cargo acts as a literal time machine. You are willingly paying a premium to condense a multi-week ocean voyage into just a few days of high-speed transit. It's the ultimate fast-track solution for when time is quite literally money. However, you really can't make this decision in a vacuum. You've got to recalculate your entire landed cost breakdown. See, air freight is priced by what's called chargeable weight, which factors in both the actual weight and the physical volume of your goods. You have to run those numbers carefully to verify if your retail profit margins can actually absorb the impact of that premium shipping cost without putting your whole operation in the red. Now let's shift gears to section 3, oversized cargo, like heavy machinery. When you're importing a massive piece of equipment, say a CNC machine, a laser cutter, or even a mini excavator, the standard rulebook gets completely thrown right out the window. You can't just book standard freight for an industrial machine. It requires serious end-to-end logistics execution. We're talking specialized flatbed trucking, hyper-accurate HTS code classification for your tariffs, and expert customs brokerage to clear everything without triggering those really costly regulatory holds. Industrial machinery introduces absolutely the highest level of supply chain complexity and compliance risk. Just a single paperwork error on a laser cutter can result in crippling daily storage fees at the port. This is definitely not the time for generalists who only know how to move standard pallets. You need a forwarder with very specific, proven project cargo expertise to handle all this heavy lifting.
Next up is section 4, e-commerce and Amazon FBA strategies.
If you're an Amazon seller, your logistics have to be a perfectly choreographed dance. Your goods have to move seamlessly from a factory in Shenzhen across the ocean or through the air, completely clear customs, and then drop directly into Amazon's incredibly strict fulfillment network.
Just one single misstep, and boom, your shipment gets rejected right at the warehouse door. It's tough. The magic acronym you need to know here is DDP. That stands for Delivered Duty Paid. Unlike those risky CIF terms we talked about earlier, DDP means your logistics partner steps up and assumes all the risks, all the costs, and all the U.S. customs duties on your behalf. That means no surprise bills, it means no frozen inventory right when you need it the most. It entirely mitigates your shipping risks so your goods can go straight to the marketplace.
The most effective Amazon FBA forwarders are going to combine that strict DDP execution with advanced live tracking technology. As an e-commerce seller, you absolutely never want to lose visibility of your critical replenishment stock, right? Knowing exactly where your cargo is located at any given moment lets you manage your advertising spend and coordinate those big product launches with total confidence and precision.
And that brings us to Section 5, making your final decision. Now it's time to actually apply this and thoroughly audit your current setup. You've got to use a strict checklist here. Demand accurate quotes based on your target pricing. Establish clear, transparent terms so you know exactly what separates a DDP quote from a CIF quote. And above all else, fiercely demand proof of expertise in your specific cargo type before you hand over your supply chain to any forwarder.
As AEB Logistics points out in their industry insights, you have to stop letting hidden shipping costs from China eat your profit margins. Logistics shouldn't be some black box that just silently drains your revenue. Done right, it should be a competitive advantage, one that allows you to outpace your rivals and actually grow your business.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to analyze today. Take a really hard look at your supply chain. Does your current freight forwarder actually match your exact business model, or are you just settling for a generic, one-size-fits-all solution that's secretly stunting your growth? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to go review your shipping quotes this week.